大家好, I'm Martin, and welcome to Short Stories, brought to you by the National Taichung University of Science and Technology Language Center. Today's short story is called The Ugly Duckling. It was first published in 1843 and was written by famous author Hans Christian Andersen. Yes, that guy. And it is a story about a baby swan who gets mistaken for a ugly duck. And if you have ever seen a baby swan, you can actually see how people could confuse a baby swan for an ugly duck. They look almost identical when they're babies. Anyway, let's get started by first reading the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. After I have finished the story, I will read the 4 listening comprehension questions. Okay, let's get started. Vocabulary. Clutch. Clutch. The clutch hatched and immediately chirped for their mother. Duckling. Duckling. A mother duck and her ducklings crossed the road safely. Console. Console. My friend tried to console me after I lost the race. Tease. Tease. The boy doesn't like going to school because his classmates always tease him. Pond. Pond. My aunt's farm has a fish pond next to the barn. Make inquiries. Make inquiries. I've been making inquiries about applying for an entry visa. Stray. Stray. Many stray dogs live in the park. Grumble. Grumble. He grumbled to me about his job all day. Ajar. Ajar. He left the window ajar to let the steam out. Migrate. Migrate. Swans migrate 1,000 kilometers south in October to find warmer places. The story. On an old farm at the end of an old country road lived a family of ducks. Mother Duck had been sitting on a clutch of new eggs. One nice morning, the eggs hatched and out popped 6 happy ducklings. But one egg was bigger than the rest, and it didn't hatch. Mother Duck couldn't remember laying that 7th egg. How did it get there? Did I miscount my eggs? Mother Duck wondered. But before she had time to think about it, the last egg finally hatched. A strange-looking duckling with gray feathers looked up at his mother. I can't understand how this ugly duckling can be one of mine, she thought to herself, shaking her head. All the other ducks in the pond thought he looked strange. As the days went by, the poor ugly duckling became more and more depressed. His brothers didn't want to play with him. He was so clumsy, all the farmyard animals simply laughed at him. He felt sad and lonely, while Mother Duck did her best to console him. Poor little ugly duckling, she would say, why are you so different from the others? And the ugly duckling felt worse than ever. He secretly wept at night. He felt nobody wanted him. Nobody loves me. They all tease me. Why am I different from my brothers? Then one day he ran away from the farmyard. He stopped at a pond and began to question all the other birds. Do you know of any ducklings with gray feathers like mine? But everyone shook their heads. We don't know anyone as ugly as you. The ugly duckling did not lose heart, however, and kept on making inquiries. He went to another pond, where a pair of large geese gave him the same answer to his question. The duckling was sorry he had left the farmyard. His travels took him near an old woman's cottage. Thinking he was a stray goose, she caught him. "I'll put this in a hen house. I hope it's a female and lays plenty of eggs," said the old woman, whose eyesight was poor. But the ugly duckling did not lay a single egg. The hens warned him, "Just wait. If you don't lay eggs, the old woman will break your neck and pop you into the pot." And the cat added, "Hee hee, I hope that woman cooks you, then I can chew on your bones." The poor ugly duckling was so scared that he lost his appetite, though the old woman kept stuffing him with food and grumbling, "If you won't lay eggs, at least hurry up and get plump." "Oh dear me," moaned the now terrified duckling. "I'll die of fright first." Then one night, finding the door ajar, he escaped. Once again he was all alone. He fled as far as he could, and at dawn, he found himself in a thick bed of reeds. "If nobody wants me, I'll hide here forever." There was plenty of food, and the duckling began to feel a little happier, though he was still lonely. One day at sunrise, he saw a group of beautiful birds fly overhead. They were white, with long, slender necks, yellow beaks, and large wings. They were swans migrating south for the winter. "If only I could look like them just for a day," said the duckling admiringly. Winter came and the water froze. The poor duckling left home to find food in the snow. He dropped exhausted to the ground, but a farmer found him and covered him with his jacket. "I'll take him home to my children. They'll look after him. Poor thing, he's frozen." The duckling was taken care of very well at the farmer's house and was able to survive the cold winter. When spring came, the duckling had grown so big that the farmer declared, "I'll set him free by the pond." That was when the duckling saw himself reflected in the water. "Goodness, how I've changed! I hardly recognize myself." Just then, the same group of swans flew down from the sky and landed gracefully in the pond. When the duckling saw them, he realized he looked just like them. "We're swans like you," they said warmly. "Where have you been hiding?" "It's a long story," replied the young swan, still astounded. He decided to join the group of swans and live with them for the whole season. One day, he heard children on the riverbank exclaim, "Look at that young swan. He's the finest of them all." Listening questions. Number 1. The ugly duckling was actually A, a duck, B, a goose, C, a swan, D, a hawk. The answer is C, a swan. Question 2. How did all the other farm animals treat the ugly duckling? A, kindly, B, cruelly, C, gently, D, friendly. The answer is B, cruelly. Question 3. What did the old woman want the ugly duckling to do? A, lay eggs, B, hatch eggs, C, turn white, D, carry a message to the farmer. The answer is A, lay eggs. Question 4. How did the ugly duckling realize what he truly was? A, he looked in the mirror. B, he looked at his reflection on the water. C, he asked the neighborhood swans. D, he looked into his heart. The answer is B. He started to realize after he looked at his reflection on the water. The story is now ended, and I hope you enjoyed it. I think what makes this story so enduring, why it has lasted so long in popular imagination, is that I think we all feel like the ugly duckling sometimes. We all feel like unwanted outsiders, at least once in a while. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.